All right, welcome everyone to today's Ninja Skill Booster. We've started calling these Ninja Skill Boosters because we think that's a bit more engaging than free webinar. So really appreciate you coming along today to fight procrastination like a ninja. Some of you who are here, I know, have done workshops with our Think Productive team before. Some of you are here to check us out, see what you think of our Productivity Ninja approach to productivity and life. And some of you are probably just here to improve your own productivity. So whatever reason you're here for, welcome. Today is all about helping you fight procrastination. Procrastination is one of these things that is a huge productivity killer. So my name is Matt Cowdroy. For those of you that don't know me or have never been in touch with me before, here are my contact details for you. You're very welcome to take a screenshot or a photo of this so you can get in touch with me in the future at any time. So I'll just leave that there for a minute while you grab those details. Not a minute because we don't have a whole minute to spare, but 10 more seconds. And then I'll get into the content. I don't dress as a ninja very often. So yes, it was worth taking a photo, that's for sure, and slightly embarrassing. So today we're talking about procrastination. As some of you know, everything we talk about at Think Productive is based on this idea of the Productivity Ninja, the book written by Graham Alcott, How to Be a Productivity Ninja. I got involved with this about 7 years ago when I was working in an international business development role and I was pretty overwhelmed. And I bought this book at Sydney Airport and it made such a difference to my life. I was lucky I had 10 hours on my way to Hong Kong to just immerse myself in the book, do all the practices. Made such a difference. I became a full-time ninja and I launched Think Productive Australia. That's how this all started. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about you. After today, you will all get access to our Productivity Ninja Academy that you can see on the screen there. In the Academy, one of the best things in there is you can download a copy of the book for free, a full digital copy. But what's also in the Academy are lots of little courses and videos on managing emails, setting up task lists, different apps you can use, all sorts of things in there. We've created an incredible library of content in there. So you'll all get a welcome email to the Academy. Jump in there and have a look around. Let's talk about procrastination. What is procrastination? Firstly, you're not alone when you're thinking, how can I deal with my procrastination? How can I help myself with procrastination? There are thousands of Google searches every month, all these different types of procrastination searches with people probably procrastinating, but trying to help themselves with their procrastination. So what is it? It's a delay in conjunction with subjective discomfort. Now that's a lot of words. I take that as meaning it's a delay which will cause some discomfort. Or it's the illogical delay of behavior. Or it's self-harm. That's a pretty big definition, that one. But it is harming ourselves. Procrastination is harming ourselves. We're putting things off, which is causing us stress today. I recently immersed myself in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, and he talked about habits and why do we do things that are not so good for us and we put off the things that we know that are going to help us. It's because we generally aren't thinking about our future self. We're generally just thinking about our current self. And this is a challenge. We need to start planning ahead, thinking about our future self. If we can put off this procrastination, if we can, stop this procrastination, get the stuff done, our current self is going to feel much better. It might take some effort, but it really helps. So let's firstly understand why we procrastinate. Why do we procrastinate? It's good to know this because it's human. It's human nature. Oh, hello, lizard brain. Now, if you've done some of our Productivity Ninja workshops, you'll know that we talk about the lizard brain quite a lot when we think about stress. Our lizard brain is our amygdala, and our amygdala is here to keep us safe. One of the reasons we procrastinate is we have a fear of what we're doing, that what if we make a mistake? What if it's not good enough? So our lizard brain fires off, we have an amygdala hijack, and we go into procrastination mode. We go into protection mode. This is a natural instinct. So we can work through this with some mindfulness, some breathing, some tools, but this is good to know that this is a normal behavior. So I want to talk about some of the reasons we procrastinate specifically, because this is where we start looking for a solution. And that's what you're here for today, is a solution. So from Graham's book, Study Ninja, which he wrote, it's similar to Productivity Ninja, but it's more focused at late high school and university students. He talks about these 4 reasons we procrastinate, the dust model. Once we can identify why we're procrastinating, we can get really clear on the solution, on how to help ourselves. So some things are just difficult. We put things off, we procrastinate because things are difficult. We might just need to ask for help. That's the solution there. Ask for help, get some support. Maybe someone else needs to do it. Maybe we're not the right person. That's if it's truly a difficult thing. Some things, however, are undefined, meaning we haven't sat and worked out what's the next step. What's the next thing I need to do? How many of us have on our to-do list tax return? But tax return is just too daunting, too challenging. So if we break it down to call the accountant and find out what information I need to give them, or what's the next step? Print out the bank statements, whatever you need to do. Add that definition, and then that next step is easier. Some things are scary. This is where the lizard brain kicks in. Some things are scary. When there's something that's a bit scary, we put it off. Our lizard brain forces us to go into freeze mode. So when things are scary, we just need to get through this fear in some way. So I want to tell you a little story from a book called Linchpin by Seth Godin. Linchpin by Seth Godin. Seth Godin talks about artists or painters, especially if you're like an amateur artist, you'll have all these paintings in your studio lined up against the wall, which you'll say are not finished. They're not finished. Because what happens when you say it's finished and you hang that painting on the wall? When you say that painting's finished, you're going to get feedback. You're going to get judged. This is why in our work, in our life, we put things off, particularly if we're worried about the outcome. So Seth has this little phrase. This is the gold here. This is the gold nugget. His phrase is ship it, ship it. And ship it is just a mindset to encourage us to keep things moving. Ship it is just a mindset to get over this fear of what if there's a spelling mistake? What if there's a typo? It doesn't matter. Ship it, ship it. It's a great phrase. The final one, tedious. Some things are boring, some things are tedious, so we procrastinate. Some good things around this is once we've decided they're important and we still have to do them, setting a timer, doing it with a friend, having some kind of accountability, giving yourself a reward of some sort when you get that tedious thing done. Often you'll find the reward is an intrinsic reward anyway, which is I feel so good that I've got through this procrastination. So these are some of the reasons we procrastinate and what to do about it. Once we can identify it, this can really help. So how to fight it? What to do about it? What to do about this procrastination? How do we fight it like a ninja? The first thing is we need a second brain. The second brain is where we put all our actions, all our tasks, all our things we need to do. There's videos in the academy about the second brain. These short ninja skill boosters are just to give you the ideas. If you want to go and research these further, read them in the book, look at them in the academy, book us to do a workshop, whatever you like. I've got some other ideas for you at the end on this, but have this second brain. It's your to-do list, but it's your to-do list, expanded to include everything that's going on in your brain. In that second brain, you'll have a project list. The project list is a list of all the big things you're working towards, and you'll have a master actions list. The master actions list is all the little things you could do for each of those projects. Now, you don't have to have everything you're going to do for that project for the next 6 months, but the next couple of things, the next actions you need to do for each project. Having this detailed, having this defined starts to help us get through this procrastination, because we know what we're working on and we know what we need to do. Now, another thing to think about when it comes to procrastination are our different levels of attention we have during the day. Some of you might have heard me talk about this as green light, orange light, red light. We can also talk about it in these words of proactive attention, which is our green light, active attention, orange, inactive attention, red light. Now, proactive attention, we only get about 2 to 3 hours of this a day. This is when we're on, we're switched on. We can get lots of work done. We need to use this time really well. At Think Productive, we talk about attention management instead of time management. So managing this attention, knowing when you're at your best and getting those big tasks done in that time. Our active attention is most of the other time. We can be doing our work, having meetings, making phone calls, all that other stuff. Inactive attention is red light when we're kind of a bit brain dead. It might be 3:30 in the afternoon for most of us, or it might be first thing in the morning for some of us. It's good to know when your good and bad times are. And in that time, do the basic things, do some filing or go for a walk or have a rest, whatever. But knowing what our different levels of attention are and making sure we're making the most of it. Now, when we're in that proactive attention, we've got a concept called stealth and camouflage. This will help us get through this procrastination, because today we're focusing our ninja tools and techniques on this idea of procrastination. Here are some tips for you. This is one of the best tips we ever share. Put your Outlook offline if you're an Outlook user. If you're a Gmail user, there's a way to work with Gmail offline as well. You might need to contact me to get some help with that. But put your Outlook offline. So under the send receive menu, there's a work offline button. This means you can be using Outlook, writing emails, reading emails, but you won't be seeing new emails coming in. This should be the default. The default should be offline, and then every hour or two, we go online, let those new emails come in. So Outlook offline is a big one. Turning your phone off, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. Once you block out all these distractions, you can't procrastinate anymore. There's nothing else to do. So this really helps us get through the procrastination. And using a timer. So this is an app called Forest. Forest it's a cute timer. It's a countdown timer on the phone. You need your phone on, but you can have it on flight mode. When you achieve the countdown time, it plants little trees, which is cute. When you use your phone and you go and look at Facebook or something, the tree dies. So that's just a bit of motivation to keep you focused. But for me, I just use the countdown timer on the phone. But it's all around this technique of the Pomodoro Technique. So the Pomodoro Technique is using a timer to keep you focused. You choose what you're going to do. Choose that thing you're procrastinating about, which we sometimes call a frog, but I'll come back to the frogs. Choose that frog. What's that thing you're procrastinating about? Set a timer. Normally about 25 minutes is good. Set that timer and just do nothing but that task for the next 25 minutes. Now, what we're looking for here is by using some of these techniques is you improve your productivity. Why do we want to improve our productivity? It reduces our stress. And then it's a cycle. We're less stressed, so we're more productive. We start feeling more fulfilled. We start feeling more on top of our work. And that's a beautiful feeling compared to what many of us feel, which is a bit overwhelmed with our work. I'm not doing enough. I'm not getting enough done. So this is the opposite. We start to get this really positive feeling of feeling on top of things. So using a timer can really help with this. Now, when we talk about frogs, your frog is the thing that you're procrastinating about. I want you to have a 30 seconds of reflection time here and make some notes. What are some of the things you're procrastinating about? You don't have to share this with us. Just make some notes. What are you putting off? What's your frog? What's the thing that's burning a hole in your psyche, in your motivation at the moment, because you know that you've been procrastinating about this thing? What is it? What's your frog? Another good question for this is, what are you resisting? What are you resisting in work or life? What are you resisting? What are you putting off? Now, the language of the frog language is interesting. This was first talked about by Mark Twain. And the concept here is, if you've got to eat your frog, do that thing that you're procrastinating about. When's the best time to do it? Straight away, before it gets bigger. Now, I heard one of our ninjas in the UK, Grace Marshall, I heard Grace say, if you eat a frog first thing in the morning, everything else will taste sweet. And I love that. It's like, if you get that thing done, here's a bit of motivation. If you get that thing done that you've been procrastinating about, the rest of the day feels good. All those other tasks just flow easily. So eat your frog, really important. Now, another really good way to set ourselves up so we catch ourselves with procrastination is doing some boss thinking. Those of you that have done our workshops before have seen this before. Those of you that haven't, here it is. Grab a screenshot, grab a photo. I'll be sending you a follow-up email with a link to a PDF of this anyway. But this is boss thinking. This is when we think like a boss. Think like a boss at the start of the day. Get ourselves set up for success. Put 5 things on a post-it note. Your 5 top priorities. Hopefully number 1 is one of your frogs. Now, this whole process only takes 5 to 10 minutes. Now, I want to tell you a little story I once heard. I heard a meditation teacher say Everyone should meditate for 10 minutes a day, unless they don't have time. And then they should meditate for half an hour. Now, this is the same thing. I'm very passionate about this daily checklist and this boss thinking at the start of the day. Everyone should do this unless you don't have time. You know where I'm headed with this. If you think you don't have time for this, that's when you need to do this. Have I talked about this enough? Yeah, I think so. You get the idea. Let me know if you want some support with this. This is a really critical part of setting yourself up for success. The other part of success is making sure we're taking time to do some review. Review is one of the 4 stages we go through in our CORD model in our productivity workshops. Review is when we stop and take stock of what's going on, catch up from what's been happening, and plan ahead. Now, the weekly review is a great process for this. It's covered in the book. We talk about it in the workshops. I will be sending you a weekly review checklist, which helps you with this. Basically, 1 to 2 hours a week, sit down, go through the checklist. It's a beautiful time to catch up. Now, this helps you catch yourself with the things you're procrastinating about. Because I know today we're talking about procrastination. So this is a moment of honesty when you go, okay, in my weekly review, what are the things that I'm procrastinating about? So we don't have time today to go through the whole process, but it's a pretty straightforward process. I'll be sending you the checklist for this so you can do the weekly review. And we'll also be running some ninja skill boosters like this on the weekly review in coming months. So keep an eye out for those. The other thing to do about procrastination is move the motivation from internal to external, from intrinsic to extrinsic. Like the intrinsic motivation, we get some momentum, we can get started, but we can get stuck. Get other people to force this motivation out of you. Have an accountability buddy, grab a colleague, grab a friend, jump on a Facebook group or something. Email me, whatever you need to put it out to the world that this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm getting through my frog. This is the frog I'm eating today. That's a good question you can ask a colleague or a friend. What's your frog? Share your frogs and go frog hunting. Like this idea of this language around frogs can be really, really helpful. So help yourself with your motivation. Motivation runs out. Motivation dissipates throughout the day, throughout the week as our energy drops. So we need to get some help. We need to get other people to force us into this state of action sometimes. Just a couple more things and then I'll be wrapping up. So when we're thinking about our procrastination and why, this is all part of mindfulness. When we think about mindfulness and link it to productivity, we talk about self-awareness. How do we deepen our self-awareness so that we've got more perspective on what's going on? Sometimes, like here we are climbing the rock, it all feels a bit hard. But once we zoom out from what we're doing, sometimes during that weekly review, we see the bigger picture. What's your why? What's the purpose of what you're working on? Why are you doing this? What are you working towards? What are your goals? So mindfulness can really help with this, taking these moments of self-reflection, deepening our self-awareness. And the other part of productivity and procrastination is just reframing life, reframing work, getting clarity that you can't do everything. Sometimes we procrastinate because we're just feeling overwhelmed. There's just too much to do. Once we get clear that we can't do everything, we can then focus on those important things and get those things done. Now, when it says here, lower your expectations, this is not saying lower your goals, lower your dreams, lower your ambitions, but lower your expectations of being able to do everything. Take the pressure off. We can sometimes be procrastinating because of this sense of overwhelm. And something I'm hearing so much at the moment is overwhelm with hybrid working, with all the changes that's going on. Like so much overwhelm with emails, overwhelm with MS Teams. So, we're helping our clients with that a lot at the moment because people are just feeling overwhelmed. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's normal. But we can proactively do things about it. Knowing that we are human, we're not superheroes. We always say that productivity ninjas are not superheroes. Sometimes we look like it, us ninjas, and you are now all productivity ninjas. You're part of the family, you're part of the clan. You will sometimes look like superheroes because we're doing these things. These simple techniques can give us 5, 10, 20% improvements in our productivity. And I always like to say, imagine doing 3 things that give you a 7% improvement in your productivity. That's 21% improvement in your productivity. That's 1 day a week. 1 day a week of extra productivity you can get by doing these 3 simple things, especially that daily checklist, especially turning your Outlook offline will improve your productivity. So there's a lot of ideas there. These sessions are designed to be really quick. We're trying to actually keep them into half an hour now. I think the description for today said it was a total of 45 minutes, but we had a team meeting and decided we really need to keep these half an hour to keep them quick, sharp skill boosters. I hope you've taken a lot of notes. I'm just going to explain now where you can get more information about this. You can connect with me. You can ask me any questions you like. We run a whole range of workshops for different businesses and different types of situations. So get in touch. You can book us for your business, book us for your team. I've got some other news coming up for individuals as well, but we're running sessions on working from home, hybrid working, virtual meetings, leading remote teams, leading hybrid teams, all our usual productivity ninja workshops on productivity skills, emails, meetings, communication, one-on-one coaching. So there's all sorts of stuff we can help you with. Just reach out and have a chat. But I wanted to let you know that coming up, these are the topics we've got coming up for these ninja skill boosters. They're not locked in as dates and times yet. Well, they are actually, but they're just not online yet for you to book. But some really great topics coming up for these skill boosters. So I'm just checking here. Sorry, there's a question that's come through as well. So yeah, keep an eye on our monthly productivity tips that we send out. Keep an eye on our website. So these are all going to be complimentary sessions. We're running these to support clients that have already done work with us and want extra skill boosters, but also just to support anyone that doesn't have the privilege of doing our sessions with their employer. Thank you for that question, Stacey. I'll read that in a sec and come back to that. The other thing we've got coming up, this is hot off the press for those of you that want to do more. This is not able to be booked yet, but I just wanted to flag this for you. We've decided to run a program called 6 Weeks to Ninja for individuals. Our corporate clients can do this as well if you like, but the idea here is a lot of individuals running their own businesses, etc., don't get a chance to come on our corporate workshops. So there'll be 6 2-hour sessions. It'll be on a Tuesday evening. We're looking at charging around the $500 mark for these with an early bird promo of $450. So anyway, keep an eye out for that. If that 6 Weeks to Ninja is something that interests you, we'll be going through most of our workshop content over the course of 6 weeks, giving you an opportunity to be accountable, giving you an opportunity to put things in practice. I'm really excited about this session because it'll have that longevity. So anyway, let me check this question. Thank you, Stacey. As everyone's attention, green, orange, red, yeah, that proactive, active, inactive, are at different times of the day. How do we schedule team meetings so that we're not using someone's proactive attention when they should be working on projects and deep thinking? That is a really good question. What we encourage people to do is firstly, become aware of your own proactive attention time, share that with your team. So particularly someone needs to coordinate this on behalf of your team that you're meeting with. And that's a really good point. We don't want to be having team meetings when people are in that green light or that proactive attention time, because meetings are a yellow light or an active attention zone. Now, as life, we won't be able to keep everyone happy. So we might have to have morning meetings for the month of May and then have afternoon meetings for the month of June, and mixing it up a little bit because that can help as well. One of the ninja concepts is unorthodoxy, which is experimenting, trying new things. So if we're thinking, when do we have these team meetings so that it suits everyone, try shifting it around a bit. But that's such a good question, Stacey, because we don't want to be having team meetings when the majority are in that green light time, because orange is enough. Orange is enough for collaboration, answering questions, etc. So I hope that answers your question. Now, I'm just going to check the chat to see if anyone else has put any comments in the chat at all. Thanks for that question, Stacey. If you want more information, Graham's got a really good podcast called Beyond Busy. Graham is the author of The Productivity Ninja, for those of you that missed that at the start. Now, please, I'd love to get some feedback from you all on this session. These ninja skill boosters are something that we're really trying to do more and more and more of, just to give value to our clients. You can scan this QR code. That's the easiest way. Thanks to COVID, one good thing, we can all use QR codes now. Scan that QR code with your phone. I would love your feedback on this session. Is it too short? Is it too long? Did I talk too fast? Or did you just love it? Whatever. I'll leave that there for another 5 seconds and then I'll go to questions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me know in the chat if I've moved on too fast. Now, if you have any questions, please let me know. You can put a question in the chat or you can put a question in the Q&A. You'll find those controls in your control panel, either at the bottom or the top of your screen. Are there any questions? Otherwise, you're very welcome to get in touch with me via email, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all the usual places. Doesn't this keep us busy? And let's just see. Thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate you coming to this Ninja Skill Booster. As I mentioned, we'll be having a lot more of these over the next coming months. Are there any questions? Does anyone want to put in the chat what your frog is? What's your frog? What are you going to go and do this afternoon now that you know this concept of frogs? Thanks, Fleur. Who wants to put their frog in the chat? Let us know what you're going to do. Otherwise, thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon. What I'm going to do now is just put the slide back onto that daily checklist in case you missed that, because that's something you can do right now to go and get some stuff done this afternoon. Like this daily checklist doesn't have to be done at the start of the day. You can do it now to get on with things. Thanks, Sophie. Thanks, Julie. Thanks, everyone, for your lovely comments. All right. If there's no questions, we'll say goodbye. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Oh, here comes one. My frog is the laundry. Nah, interesting one, Maya. Excuse me. Isn't the laundry an interesting one? I'm really good at putting it on. I'm really good at putting the washing machine on, but that's only 10% of the process, isn't it? I'm really bad at getting it finished. So yeah, defining that laundry. What do you mean by laundry? Is it finished? Is it back in the cupboard? Yeah, that's where I need some help. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon. See you at our next Ninja Skill Booster, or when we come and see you in your workplace. Bye for now.